Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Education business meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion carries. I now ask you all to rise. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic from which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we come to the point in the meeting where any citizens or delegations wishing to speak about areas not of interest not included on the agenda may speak at this time. If there is any such person here or delegation, would you please approach the podium? There are no people coming to the podium, so we can continue. Next is the superintendent's reports to the board.
Tonight we have Ryan Rui, who's our Director of Career and Technical Education, that's going to give us a brief update on technical education enrollment that is in the packet, and we're very excited to see what he's accomplished in a very short time here in our district. So, Ryan?
Okay, I'm going to show you basically the comparison data and student request from 2013 versus the 2014 and 15 school year. And the reason that I concentrated for the most part on just technology education is because of the investment that was made in that area. If you're looking at the automotive enrollment, now there's a couple reasons why. You can see there's, in Autos 1, for instance, it went from 62 students that requested it in 2013 and 14 to 175. Now, that's a huge jump, and obviously one thing that attributed it to that was in the past they actually took away the small engines course, and freshmen did not have an option in the automotive field. So we decided that we need to make sure that they're not missing out on that initial year. So we opened up our automotive 1 to our freshman class. So there are 175 students signed up for next year. Autos 2, and typically each year you progress and get more in detail. You will see a drop off in some of that enrollment, especially when it becomes more specialized. Now that we do have more kids filtering in through that program, the Autos 2 and 3 programs next year will be higher again, simply because we do have more kids running through the program. The blueprint reading, this was something that we just simply did a name change. We didn't expect the huge jump in enrollment in this space. I would guess next year we will, because it's not just a blueprint reading class anymore. Exploring Technology allows kids to get a portion of blueprint reading, but they also are able to go in the cabinet making area. They're able to do a little bit of the welding, a little CNC, some of the robotics within Project Lead the Way curriculum. It's really exploring the department. So something that used to be kind of just blueprint reading is more of a well-rounded experience for those freshman students and anyone else, any other grade levels that are interested in taking that. Project Lead the Way, again, it's we did see a small jump, but it's not something that we expected. That's more of your college prep courses within that area. Those students interested in becoming engineers, and so on. We do have three different courses: Introduction to Engineering Design, Principles of Engineering, Digital Electronics, and next year we're also going to have another Project Lead the Way course in Computer Science. And what we're planning to do, now that we'll have 4 courses in Project Lead the Way, is get nationally accredited. And in order to do that, you have to teach 4 Project Lead the Way courses to become nationally accredited. Construction, we did have a significant jump. And in the basic carpentry class last year, they had 33 students signed up for just that basic carpentry class. Again, we did a name change to try to simplify it a little bit. And for the 14 and 15 school year, we currently have 144 student requests for that course. We also have a new course, it's Construction 4. and that's where we're planning to have students build a home in the 14 and 15 school year. We have 24 students signed up for that, and that is the cap. You don't necessarily want 50 kids building a home because you can't manage it and for safety reasons, especially with one instructor on a job site. Those are for our junior level and our senior level students. As the program gets going, the preference for us is to have seniors building the home each year. The way that will work is they'll have first and second block in the morning. Typically those are your athletes. And your fourth and fifth block will be your afternoon class. So you'll have them 2 hours and 40 minutes in the morning and 2 hours and 40 minutes in the afternoon. Now, for those students that may need credit recovery, they can take it first or fourth block. And the reason it's first or fourth block is because students will be receiving the initial instruction during that time. So we would not want a student to start second block because primarily the instruction or the direction would go within that first block of the course. So you can see that was that's something new that we're kind of excited about for next school year. Our cabinetry class, again, it jumped. It's from 30 to 63. And one thing, our new instructor, his name's Mike Wagner, and he is actually one of the instructors that's doing our CT externship experience. Currently is working in Evansville with a contractor in that area, floor framing and also beginning wall framing. He's also going to be doing a CNC router externship with a company as well, where we have a CNC router in our facility. Actually, we have two of them in our cabinet making area. And eventually our plan is to get students proficient enough throughout the 4 years that they could actually build the cabinets for the homes that we're building. So it's a direct correlation within those two courses. Our IT course has also received a pretty decent jump. We did, again, a name change, and the reason we changed it from Cisco is I felt that it kind of limited us to just the Cisco curriculum, and I wanted to just simply change it to IT Fundamentals and IT Network 1 and IT Network 2, which allows us to incorporate Cisco along with some other things as well. A big thing now are industry certifications. This is an area that in the 14-15 school year we're going to begin trying to make sure we have kids that are getting through those certification processes. And with Act 59, any student that is able to get an industry certification, that is $1,000 to the district. Our basic welding, now this is one of the areas that the district invested in. And for the most part, all the areas that the board has decided to kind of move forward with and begin investing because of the needs, not only in the state but around the community and nationally, is welding as well as some of our CNC programs. So our basic welding from last year, we had 89 students signed up, and you can see the jump. There's 138 students. So it was previously obviously a pretty established program, although that jump, I think we'll continue to see those improvements filter in more students. And also with that Exploring Technology course, when students get a chance to just try welding, welding can be intimidating for some individuals, and if they're able to try it, they see that that's really not that intimidating, and it's something that many excel at. So advanced welding and fabrication went from 22 students to 37, and again, now going into our second year of our CNC program. From our basic machining course, we'll begin to see more kids filter in. Actually, I should move to the next slide. CNC machining, it doubled from 33 to 66. We're not running the advanced machining course simply because we don't have enough students at this point to justify running that, although those 7 students will begin filtering into our basic machining course. So you're looking at roughly 73 kids in basic machining. But those students that have been through that program will have an opportunity to do some more advanced projects and so on. Another benefit for our machining students is our partnership with Scott Forge. They're planning on giving us a part and we'll begin producing the part. So, for instance, they'll give us a quota, and we'll produce it, and they will pay us for that quota. They're actually giving us the material. And it's understood that it obviously has to fall within all their specs, all their mandatory things that they have to come through with students. So it's definitely a wonderful opportunity for kids to be able to have that experience within our own building. My goal is to eventually have a fully functioning business within our own school building, and that could mean that department could become self-sufficient and be able to produce a product or help companies locally. So, for instance, if we have a company that may, they have a fairly simple product that we could produce for them and begin helping our kids learn the process of CNC, that not only are we helping someone locally or a company locally, but we're also helping our students by showing them the whole process. So now that, for the most part, is the update on those numbers. And again, the reason why we decided to really show you this area is because of the investment that the district has made. So we're definitely moving in the right direction, and I look forward to seeing what we have to come in the future. Are there any questions?
Questions? Comments? Michael?
Just to say, thank you for coming and sharing.
Thank you.
Missy?
This really is the most exciting new thing in our district, maybe since the iPads. But what are the licenses that you said I think you mentioned welding, but what other licenses?
Certifications?
Yes, that's what I mean.
Some of the certifications, for instance, you can get a Cisco certificate. You can also get NIMS credential, which is a manufacturing credential.
Okay.
You can get welding certifications. You can get, in some of our hospitality areas, you can get Surf Save certification. So there are a variety of them. And actually, a few weeks ago, I've received something from DPI that shows me what certifications count. Currently, we have in our infant and toddler program, as well as our child care services program, which Judy Stogsdill recently retired. We have 71 students that have received certifications. So that correlates with typically should be $1,000 for a district.
From 71
students.
And we've not done this ever before, even with the place.
There have been some that we've had certifications, but it's usually certain students that want to pursue those certifications. Our goal is to basically incorporate that right within the curriculum, and it is a process. There are steps and procedures that you have to take to make sure students are taking the test, they're passing the test, but we're moving towards getting kids more certifications.
That's great.
Just for instance, also in the automotive program, you can get ASC certifications. We currently have 2 students that's working for Frank Boucher, and they're actually in the Mopar program with Frank Boucher, which will allow them to get again industry certifications through their organization. So we're pretty fortunate to have people locally, not only in Janesville but in Beloit, that allow us to get our kids into those facilities and really learn firsthand.
And can you just tell us one more time what this certification will allow them to do when they graduate?
Yep. If they're leaving our facility with an industry certification, it makes them more desirable to employers because they know they have an individual coming in that has a background. They have passed the test. They have those initial skills to be put into the workforce. For instance, if we have a student that comes with a NIMS credential, they can start at a higher dollar amount in certain facilities. So it's really a benefit to them. And not only those companies don't have to train them and put them through those certification programs. That is why they're able to start them out with a higher dollar figure.
Great.
So.
Thank you.
Other questions? I've got a couple. Well, first of all, on that certification, Mopar certification, the fact that they have got a Mopar certification means that they know already the parts department, the terminology, and all that sort of thing, which does make them more desirable to hire. And of course, again, the dealership doesn't have to pay for them for them to be trained. And finally, it provides an opportunity for the dealership to evaluate them as potential employees. And wouldn't be terribly surprising if Frank Boucher decided to hire one or both of those kids.
Right. And, that's really the goal, is obviously to get students into a career or something directly out of high school if they decide to pursue going to the technical college or university. Those industry certifications also can help them with that as well, meaning that it looks good on a transcript to say that I do have a certification.
Yeah.
So.
I've got a question in terms of the fact that we're rolling all these additional kids into these courses, which is wonderful. Are we at a point where we have more kids that want to get into a course than we have room in the course, and some kids are getting turned away?
We did actually cut some sections this year.
Oh,
So,
okay.
For instance, in the welding program, we actually did have to cut a few sections simply
Okay.
because there's one instructor to teach it.
Yeah.
So, we'd like to obviously try to keep as many of those sections as we can, and we're doing the best that we can with the staff that we have to make sure that happens.
Okay. The Scott Forge partnership, that's just fantastic. I really like the fact that we are doing, and Scott Forge is a great example, there are others, such a good job with this entire program of working with businesses in the community. It's great. And it helps kids to workforce readiness
Right.
when they actually are working with real live companies doing real live work. So it's really good.
Right, and North American Tool and Precision Plus have been a huge part of this as well. So
Great.
we just happen to be working with Scott Forge at this point
Okay.
to get a part to produce.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you very much, Ryan.
Thank you.
All right, we're now at the point for committee reports, and it is time, first of all, for the Finance Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had a very interesting meeting. Mainly, point of interest, we received a review on from a workers' compensation report. Happy to report, for those of you that weren't there, or those of you watching at home that are interested, want to let you know that our incident reporting is down. We're in good standing on many issues. A little bit of concern with slippage, I believe, isn't that right? We had a little risk with that. But what's good about knowing that is now we're putting systems in place to mitigate future incidents of slippage. So we were really excited to receive that report. It was the first time I had seen a report like that since I've been on the board, so it was wonderful to know that we're tracking those things and creating systems to make sure that our students, faculty, and staff are safe at the workplace. So we also received a couple of other overviews, one from Aramark on food service programming, got an update on all the initiatives that they have going on. They're out in the community, out at farmers market, and all these things pushing awareness for positive nutrition. One thing I would tell you from that report is although we are providing lots of healthy choices, getting students to consume those healthy choices is another task. But Aramark and our kitchen staff have been hard at work on trying to make healthier choices more appealing for students, down to pre-cutting up the fruit for them so they don't have to go through that laborious task of peeling an orange and slicing it themselves. We're making it ready to consume for them. So that was good news. We also got an overview of our iPad initiative. Things are going well there. Incidents of screen breakage and theft are within respectable guidelines. We got a report that we're doing a little bit of a delayed start at the high school because there's some transitions there with rolling things out. But there are a couple of classes that are testing take-home models to see how that works. So we're waiting for more data on how that is working, and we'll be bringing more further information to you on that. We'll also be seeing tonight a couple of membership renewals coming for approval tonight. Any questions for me?
Questions for Michael?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Next is curriculum and instruction report. I have that. We met on June 10th, and we started out getting our report on grants, which is a regular occurrence at the curriculum committee meeting. I feel that we've done a good job this year of applying for grants. Obviously, I always think it could be better, but I think we have. Not every grant application that we make results in a grant award. However, our school district was awarded almost $4 million in grant money during this school year. So I think that's commendable. We approved a 5-year grant award to Cunningham School, which could amount to a total of $480,000 over the program's 5 years. Grant will provide small group and individualized assistance in science, technology, math, and literacy, as well as enrichment in arts and physical activity. And this grant will come before the full board for approval later this evening. We also received an end-of-the-year report about the work-study program at the Beloit Learning Academy. We were delighted at the number and variety of businesses in our community that are participating in this program. Again, this is what I was talking about a minute ago in terms of partnerships with businesses in the community. We're just doing a great job on this in a variety of ways. And this is yet another way in terms of the work-study program at Beloit Learning Academy. And these opportunities provide our students with, again, a chance for both not only learning, but also, again, that all-important workforce readiness. And workforce readiness is something that this school district, I think, again, is paying more and more attention to, as they should. And I think that's a very, very good thing. And finally, we saw a current organizational chart for the curriculum department and learned about next year's pilot program in the 6th and 7th grade math using the newest Houghton Mifflin materials. This is an accelerated math for 6th graders and 7th graders. Again, it's designed to lead toward an opportunity ultimately to take advantage of the opportunity that our state legislature has presented to us to allow to present courses to our 8th grade students for high school credit. And that's something that we're working toward. And again, there's staffing questions and all sorts of things like that, but this is a great step in that direction. And that concludes the report. Are there any questions for the curriculum committee? Okay, moving right along, policy and personnel.
Thank you, Mr. Acom. Policy and Personnel Committee met on May 27th and June 10th. May 27th, we approved some personnel recommendations. On the 10th, we authorized the new resolution for the board hearing officer for the purpose of expulsions. We also approved or recommended to the full board an increase of 5.5 full-time special education para-educators. This is twofold. Number one, it's a requirement by the state that we provide these services for medically fragile and severe behavior early childhood students. And number two, it's a good thing. We're serving the kids of our district. We also had a number of policies for first reading that we went over. Some of those included digital media use, inventories, authorized use of school equipment, and that such. We had some policies for second reading, support staff compensation, fringe benefits policy, budget reports and hearings policy, and things like that. We also had some personnel recommendations that we approved, and that was our meetings. Any questions for me?
Mark, thank you. Okay, we're now at the point on our agenda where we can move to approval of the consent list. These are items noted with an asterisk, no separate discussion of the items unless a board member or a citizen so requests, in which event The items will be removed from the general order of business and considered in their normal sequence on the agenda. Is there a motion pertaining to the consent list?
So, second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. We now are at Section 115, Third-Party Administration Request for Proposal, an RFP. Do we have a motion concerning that?
I move to approve the award of Section 115 Trust Plan Administration to Mid-America Administrative and Retirement Solutions.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. The Association for Equity and Funding Membership, do we have a motion to renew our membership in that organization for another year?
Move approval of renewal.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries also. Budget adjustments.
Move approval.
Second.
Any questions or comments on the budget adjustments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Renewing our contract with CISA 2 for another year. Is there a
Move
motion?
approval.
Second.
Any discussion about CISA 2? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. That motion carries. The Cunningham Grant Award Acceptance. This is the one mentioned a moment ago in the Curriculum Committee discussion. Is there a motion?
Move approval to accept the CLC grant award in the amount of $80,000.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Resolution authorizing a board hearing officer and a board expulsion officer to determine expulsions for the 2014-15 school year.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? That is a resolution, and a resolution will require a roll call vote. Let me, by the way, take just a moment to explain what this is, too. This resolution is necessary for us to adopt on an annual basis so that we may have a judge and an attorney who will conduct our expulsion hearings in an even-handed matter, removed from the school district. These are not direct school district employees, and so therefore, again, it's even-handed and according to the statutes of law. It's been moved and seconded. We'll have a roll call. Aye.
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 Thank you, Tom.
Aye.
Question, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Does that need to be read? The resolution? Okay. Oh, yeah, right, just in title only, right?
Too bad, Michael. I would have loved to have read it.
Well, I just wanted to be sure.
All right. Moving on. Policy 362.2, digital media use in the classroom, first reading. Do we have a motion?
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
Item H, increase.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
Paraeducator.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Item H, increase the number of full-time employees, paraeducators.
Move
there-
approval.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Just
All-
that, like,
Yeah, go ahead.
again, these are some of the things that the state says you have to do, and we give you no money to do it with.
I want to
John,
thank.
we're here.
Yes.
That's what Winkleman would say if he
Yeah,
was
I was
here.
going to say, thank you for substituting for John Winkleman. We appreciate it.
Unfunded state mandate.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Now, we are at policy 362.2, digital media use in the classroom for first reading. Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Policy 683, inventories for first reading. Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. Policy 683, inventories. Any questions or discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Policy 742, authorized use of school equipment, and 742, Rule 1, equipment use rules, first reading for deletion. Is
Move
there?
approval.
Okay, it's been moved to approval. Is there a second?
Second.
And seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Next, Policy 751, Rule 1, General Transportation Guidelines.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Okay, I have a question. It says here, a pupil who attends private school is also entitled to transportation, again, this is state law, if the private school is located more than 2 miles from the pupil's residence. Are we obligated to bus kids to private schools, even if they're going to private schools in Janesville or Rockford or Madison?
The rule is that we have to go 5 miles from our boundaries, our attendance boundaries. So we do transport to one school in Janesville currently because it's within the 5 miles.
Okay.
So we go up to 5 miles outside of our attendance boundary area.
Okay, actually, now that you've told me that, I recall I've asked that question once before.
That's a good question.
And got the same answer. Thank you. Anything else on this? Okay. If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. All right, we are now back on the agenda, and it's Policy 761, Wellness, first reading.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there questions or comments on Policy 761, Wellness? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Revision, deletion for board policies in the 500 series. We'll take them as a group. 542.2, support staff compensation and fringe benefits. Rule 548, Policy 548, Rule 1, responsibilities related to evaluations. Policy 556, administrative support staff compensation, fringe benefits, deletion. And 556.1, administrative support staff holiday vacations. Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Is there any discussion about any of these 4 policies or rules? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Policy 622, budget reports and hearings, second reading. Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on Policy 622? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Policy 622, Rule 1, public notification of budget. We'll be happy to accept a motion on that.
Move approval.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Policy 630, school indebtedness, second reading. Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion on Policy 630? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Policy 655.1, leasing of school sites, second reading.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion on this? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Policy 7441, maintenance and control of instructional materials, second reading. Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on Policy 741? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. We're now at personnel recommendations. The updated personnel recommendations were delivered earlier in the personnel meeting. Do I have a motion concerning the updated personnel recommendations?
Move approval of revised Exhibit A.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion also carries. We're now at the point of the agenda where we talk about items of interest for consideration at future meetings. I have one that I'd like to put on the agenda. And probably what I'll do actually is suggest that it go through the committee, the policy committee first. But we received notification in our purple packet this evening of a Spotlight Schools grant award at Converse, which is a wonderful thing, for $50,000. But I don't recall any board approval or committee approval of this. And our policy 656, as is now written, says for proposals that request funds of $5,000 or more, prior approval shall be obtained for the Board of Education. Approval will be obtained from the board before proposals are submitted, and so forth. And I think that, generally speaking, we're a little confused about accepting grants and which committee has jurisdiction and which comes before the board and when it comes before the board. And so I think a little clarification would be in order. So I will suggest this as a matter to start with the policy committee, and I will so inform Nora, and I will also let Nora know as well that earlier in the special meeting, we asked the policy committee to take a look at public use of our facilities at the high school, including the swimming pool and including the tennis courts and including the new fitness center when it is complete, and work on a policy for that as well. Any other items of interest for considerations at future meetings? Okay, seeing none, I will announce future meetings. On July 8th, 2014, the Finance, Transportation, and Property Committee will meet, the Curriculum and Instruction Committee will meet, and the Policy and Personnel Committee will meet. So we have a busy night on July the 8th, and then on July the 22nd, there will be the next televised board meeting. Is there any further business to come before this board at this time? Seeing none, I will declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you all very much.
It's a record.
Rock and roll.
It's a record.